All right, strap in everyone, because today we're diving deep into some seriously mind-bending stuff, Sumerian mythology.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
got ancient texts, we've got archaeological findings, and we've even got some brand new
You
interpretations.
bet.
Are you ready to uncover some ancient secrets?
Absolutely, I'm ready.
I hope you are too, because this is going to be wild.
I think one of the things that's so captivating about Sumerian myths is that they don't just tell stories.
Yeah,
They really offer us a glimpse into one of the oldest civilizations on Earth,
right.
a civilization that may have actually influenced a lot of the myths and religions that we know today.
Okay, so let's break this down. We're
Correct.
talking about the Anunnaki,
Yeah.
these beings from a planet called Nibiru who came to Earth to mine gold.
To mine gold, that's right.
According to Sumerian texts, they created humans as a workforce
Yes.
to do the dirty work for them.
Yeah.
Now, the idea of humans being created to serve a higher power, this isn't unique to Sumerian mythology.
Right.
We see echoes of this in other creation myths.
Absolutely.
But what really gets me is how blunt the Sumerian version is.
Yeah.
Why are they so upfront about the why of human creation when other cultures just kind of dance around it?
That is such a great question, and it really gets to the heart of what makes Sumerian mythology so fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't shy away from the more, let's say, transactional aspects of the whole divine-human relationship.
Right.
You know, it's almost like they're presenting this cosmic contract.
Right.
But then there's another layer to this that I find particularly intriguing.
Okay.
We have the story of Gilgamesh, a king who is two-thirds god and one-third human.
Whoa.
And guess what? He's mentioned in the Sumerian king list, a real historical document.
Wow.
This isn't just a mythical figure. We're talking about a real king whose story is intertwined with this whole Anunnaki narrative.
Wait, hold on. A king who is two-thirds god.
Yes.
That sounds like something straight out of a comic book.
I know, right?
And we have actual historical evidence to back this up. Where does the Epic of Gilgamesh fit into all of this?
So the Epic of Gilgamesh is where his story truly comes to life.
Okay.
Just imagine this. We're talking about one of the oldest known works of literature,
Uh-huh.
etched onto 12 clay tablets that are themselves copies of even older texts.
Copies.
Copies.
Wow.
It makes you wonder what secrets might be hidden in those originals, right?
Okay, so we've got this historical figure whose story is steeped in mythology.
Yeah.
We've got this possible connection to the origins of world religions.
Absolutely.
And we've got this tantalizing hint that there's even more to discover.
I know.
I'm hooked. Where do we even start?
Let's start by exploring this whole idea of a shared origin.
Okay.
So the Sumerian creation myth, with its Anunnaki and the creation of humans for mining gold, it predates a lot of other well-known myths.
Right.
It even predates the Bible's creation story.
Wow.
And when we look at these different myths side by side, the similarities are actually pretty striking.
Yeah.
I mean, we see these flood myths across cultures,
Right.
So you have the Sumerian flood with Utnapishtim,
Right.
the biblical flood with Noah,
Right.
both featuring these arcs,
Yeah.
and the saving of animals.
And the creation of humans from clay or earth.
Yeah.
And these demigods like Gilgamesh.
Yes.
And this idea of gods just like directly interacting with humanity.
Totally.
It really makes you think,
Does.
could the Sumerian version actually be the common source?
Yeah.
Like some kind of myth that inspired all the others?
It's a very compelling theory, and what adds another layer to this is the fact that the Sumerian civilization was incredibly advanced for its time.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a deep understanding of astronomy, mathematics, and even writing.
Uh-huh.
Their influence could have spread really far and wide,
Right.
carrying their stories and beliefs with them.
Right.
It really makes you question how we view all these other myths, you know?
Yeah.
Are we just looking at echoes of a single powerful narrative that resonated across cultures and through time?
That's a mind-blowing thought.
It is.
All right, let's zoom in on Gilgamesh himself.
Okay.
He's this demigod, king of Uruk, which is amazing because Uruk is a real city.
It is a real city.
You can visit the ruins today.
That's right.
According to the Epic of Gilgamesh, he's struggling to reconcile his divine side with his human side.
Yeah.
It's like this inner turmoil.
I know. And here's something that I find particularly interesting.
Okay.
According to the Sumerian king list, Gilgamesh reigned for 126 years.
Okay.
Now, that might seem like a long time,
Yeah.
but it's such a stark contrast to the lifespans of the kings listed before him, who supposedly lived for hundreds, even thousands of years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's as if something shifted with Gilgamesh, like a step towards a more human experience of time and mortality.
So he's almost like this bridge between this mythical past
Uh-huh.
and something that feels a lot closer to our reality.
Yeah.
And his epic poem,
Right.
it's basically a superhero origin story, right?
Yeah.
Filled with adventure
Yeah.
and battles against these monstrous creatures.
So it certainly has all the trappings of an epic adventure, right?
Right.
I mean, we have a powerful hero.
Yeah.
Grand exploits.
Yeah.
Battles against creatures like Humbaba, the fearsome guardian of the cedar forest.
Okay, but at its core, the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
It's a deeply human story, right?
It is. It is.
It's about our struggles with power,
Yes.
our longing for meaning,
Uh-huh.
and ultimately our confrontation with the one thing that we all share,
Yeah.
which is mortality.
On mortality, that's right.
That's a good point, and that brings us to the heart of this epic Gilgamesh's journey.
Okay.
It's a wild ride filled with power struggles,
Yeah.
profound friendship, and ultimately a deep-seated fear of death.
It is.
Yeah.
And to fully grasp the significance of his journey,
Yeah.
we need to break down the key events.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so we start with Gilgamesh, kind of as a bit of a tyrant.
A tyrant, all right.
He's abusing his power, and the people are desperate.
Uh-huh.
They're crying out to the gods for help.
And that's where Enkidu comes in?
Yes.
This wild man created by the god Anu, specifically to challenge Gilgamesh.
That's right.
It's like that classic hero versus hero setup, but with a twist.
The twist, exactly.
So instead of becoming like mortal enemies,
Yeah.
their epic battle ends in this profound friendship.
Yes.
They embark on these incredible adventures together.
That's right.
They slay Humbaba, who, by the way, is described as this chimera-like creature with features of a dragon, lion, and serpent.
Dragon, lion, and serpent.
Wait, a dragon, lion, serpent?
Man,
This sounds terrifying.
It does, doesn't it? And then they take on the bull of heaven,
Okay.
sent by the goddess Ishtar after Gilgamesh.
Oh, no.
Well, let's just say, politely declines her advances.
Oh, I see, I see.
So, these ancient cultures, they use these fantastical creatures to represent forces beyond their understanding.
Right.
Like the raw power of nature, or, in Ishtar's case, the fury of a scorned goddess.
So these victories, they make Gilgamesh a legend.
Yes.
But it sounds like they also set the stage for his downfall. So what happens next?
Well, the gods, seeing this growing power and ambition of Gilgamesh and Enkidu, they start to get nervous. They fear a loss of control.
Right.
A disruption of this divine order.
Right.
So, to assert their authority, and perhaps more importantly, to remind humans of their place,
right,
they decide to kill Enkidu.
And this is where everything changes for Gilgamesh, right?
It is.
It's his first real encounter with death.
Yes.
And it completely shatters his world.
Absolutely.
It makes him confront his own mortality.
Yeah.
And that's what sets him off on this quest for immortality.
Precisely. The fear of death just becomes his driving force.
Yeah.
He sets out to find Utnapishtim, the Sumerian Noah figure, who survived the Great Flood.
Right.
And was granted eternal life by the gods.
Okay.
And this brings us to another fascinating parallel.
Yeah.
The flood myth.
The flood myth, yes.
This story just pops up in so many cultures.
I know, it's so interesting.
It really is. And both the Sumerian and biblical versions depict a global flood as divine punishment.
Yeah.
Even though the reasons differ slightly.
Yeah. What's that about?
Well, the Bible points to human wickedness.
Okay.
But in the Sumerian myth, it's more about overpopulation.
Overpopulation.
And the Anunnaki's fear of being overthrown by their human creations.
Rough, right?
I mean, the details of the Sumerian flood myth are just captivating.
I know. Tell me more.
Okay, so Utnapishtim's ark, unlike Noah's, is described as this giant cube designed by the god Enki.
Wow. So different from the classic ark image we have.
Right. Imagine that, a massive floating cube filled with animals and the seeds of all life.
It's really incredible how these ancient stories, despite their fantastical elements, can still resonate with us thousands of years later.
I know, it's amazing, right?
It's amazing.
They tap into these universal themes that are timeless.
Yeah.
The power of nature, the fear of death.
A search for meaning and purpose.
Exactly. These are questions that humans have been grappling with since the dawn of consciousness.
So back to Gilgamesh.
Okay.
He finds Utnapishtim.
He does.
Hoping for the secret to eternal life.
Yeah.
But instead of a magic potion or a hidden fountain of youth, what he gets is basically a lesson in acceptance.
That's right. Utnapishtim tells him that he doesn't actually know the secret.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that his immortality was a gift, not a formula he can replicate.
A gift.
But he does offer this one piece of advice.
Okay.
Try to conquer sleep.
Conquer sleep. What does that even mean?
Yeah, I think it's more of a metaphor, for trying to cheat death.
Okay.
Trying to deny the natural rhythm of life and death.
I see.
But of course, Gilgamesh fails.
Oh, no.
He even finds a plant that can rejuvenate him, but it gets stolen by a snake.
A snake?
A snake.
Isn't that interesting?
It is interesting.
Because the snake appears in so many mythologies.
It does.
Often as a symbol of rebirth, transformation, or even temptation.
Absolutely. And in Gilgamesh's case, it almost feels like a cosmic joke,
Yeah.
Just when he thinks he's found a way to cheat death, it's snatched away from him.
So what's the takeaway here?
Yeah.
What are we supposed to learn from this ancient tale?
I think at its heart, the Epic of Gilgamesh is a story about acceptance.
Okay.
The acceptance of our mortality.
Right.
And the importance of living a meaningful life.
Yeah.
Even without eternal life.
Right. Yeah.
It's about the power of friendship,
Yeah.
the pain of loss, and the consequences of unchecked ambition.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even though we may not be kings or demigods
Right.
facing down monstrous creatures, we still grapple with these fundamental questions.
Absolutely.
What does it mean to live a good life?
Yeah.
How do we deal with the inevitability of death?
Yeah.
And how do we make the most of our limited time?
Exactly.
These are questions that are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago.
They are timeless questions.
They are timeless.
And what makes this even more fascinating is that our understanding of this story of Gilgamesh is still evolving.
Really?
Yeah, new discoveries are being made all the time.
Wow.
Changing how we interpret these ancient texts.
That's so cool.
For instance, in 2011, a new tablet was found that revealed a surprising twist.
A twist.
Remember Humbaba?
The dragon lion serpent. How could I forget?
Well, it turns out he and Enkidu were actually friends before their epic confrontation.
No way.
Yeah.
So their whole battle, their legendary fight,
Yeah.
it was all just a big misunderstanding.
Well, we're still piecing together the full story,
Okay.
but it certainly adds a whole new layer of complexity to our understanding of these characters and their motivations.
And that's what's so exciting about studying ancient history and mythology.
It really is.
There's always more to learn,
Yeah.
more secrets to uncover.
Absolutely.
Who knows what other surprises are waiting for us in those yet-to-be-discovered tablets? Maybe we'll even find the real secret to immortality.
Maybe.
Now, that's a thought to ponder. But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Okay.
let's take a step back and explore another fascinating piece of this puzzle.
Right.
The Code of Hammurabi.
Ah, yes. The Code of Hammurabi.
What a prime example of how ancient legal systems actually mirrored the beliefs and values of their time.
It really is.
It shows us how these ancient cultures wrestled with questions of justice, order,
Yeah,
and the rule of law.
that's right.
All right, for those of us who need a refresher,
Yeah.
what exactly is the Code of Hammurabi?
Well, imagine a massive black stone pillar covered in these incredibly detailed inscriptions.
Okay.
That's the Code of Hammurabi.
Okay.
It's a collection of 282 laws dating back to around 1750 BC,
Wow.
created by, you guessed it, Hammurabi, the sixth king of the Babylonian Empire.
Okay.
And it's one of the oldest and most complete legal codes ever discovered.
That's amazing.
It covers a mind-boggling range of issues from criminal offenses to family matters and business transactions.
Wow, so we're talking theft, murder, assault, divorce, inheritance, even medical malpractice. Wait, medical malpractice?
That's right.
They had laws about that 4,000 years ago.
They did.
That's wild.
It is wild, and some of the punishments were pretty severe.
Oh, I bet.
For example, the code states that if a surgeon operates on a patient and the patient dies, the surgeon's hand shall be cut off.
Whoa, I guess malpractice insurance wasn't a thing back then.
No, not really.
But seriously, that's fascinating.
It is.
It really challenges our assumptions about what life was like in ancient times.
I know.
We tend to think of them as primitive.
Yeah.
But they clearly had these complex legal systems.
Yes.
And a surprisingly advanced understanding of medicine.
Absolutely, at least in some areas.
Yeah, in some areas.
And the Code of Hammurabi gives us this unique window into their world.
Yeah.
It shows us how they dealt with social issues, how they tried to create order and justice in their society.
So how does this connect back to Sumerian mythology and Gilgamesh?
Okay, so the connection lies with a specific deity.
A deity.
Shamash, god of justice and law.
Shamash.
At the top of that stone pillar, containing the code. There's an image of Shamash handing the laws to King Hammurabi.
Oh, wow.
It's this powerful visual representation of the divine authority behind these laws.
So Shamash is like the ultimate judge, the cosmic lawmaker.
Exactly. And remember in the story of Gilgamesh, when the gods are debating whether to kill him or Enkidu?
Oh, yeah.
It was Shamash,
right,
the god of justice, who argues against killing Gilgamesh.
Right. He said it would be better to kill Enkidu because Gilgamesh was a ruler. And killing a king would lead to just chaos and rebellion.
Precisely. So we see this theme of justice and the importance of a fair legal system reflected in both Sumerian mythology and the Code of Hammurabi.
Right.
And the figure of Shamash just links these two worlds together.
That's a really neat connection.
It is.
It's almost like these ancient cultures were grappling with the same fundamental questions about power, justice, and the rule of law that we still face today.
Absolutely.
It's incredible to think that these ideas debated and codified thousands of years ago are still relevant to our legal systems and ethical debates today.
I know, it's amazing.
And the best part is there's still so much more to uncover.
Oh, absolutely.
Every new archaeological dig, every newly translated tablet has the potential to rewrite history and deepen our understanding of these fascinating civilizations.
Imagine the possibilities, right?
I know.
What other secrets lie buried beneath the sands of time, just waiting to be unearthed?
It's enough to make you want to grab a shovel and head to the nearest archaeological site.
I know, right?
But for now, we'll have to content ourselves with the knowledge that these ancient mysteries continue to unfold, challenging our understanding of history and the human experience.
And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? The journey of discovery never truly ends.
Speaking of journeys of discovery, let's circle back to where we started.
All right.
The Anunnaki.
Yes.
Those enigmatic beings from the planet Nibiru.
Ah, yes. The Anunnaki.
Their story is perhaps one of the most controversial and intriguing aspects of Sumerian mythology.
It is. I mean, this whole idea of ancient aliens coming to Earth and creating humans.
I know.
It's definitely out there.
It is out there.
But it's also incredibly captivating.
It is captivating.
It's no wonder that this theory has captured the imaginations of so many people.
It taps into our primal curiosity about the origins of humanity.
Yes.
And the possibility of life beyond Earth.
Absolutely.
Are we truly alone in this vast universe?
I know.
Or did we have a helping hand from extraterrestrial visitors?
That's a great question.
And the fact that the Sumerians, with their advanced knowledge of astronomy and mathematics, were the ones telling these stories just adds another layer of intrigue, you know?
It does make you wonder, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, could there be a grain of truth buried within these ancient myths?
Right.
Or are they simply a reflection of humanity's enduring fascination with the unknown?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And it's a question that continues to fuel debate and speculation to this day.
It does.
There are those who just dismiss the Anunnaki theory as pure fantasy.
Right.
While others see it as a possible explanation for this seemingly sudden leap in human civilization around 6,000 years ago.
It's true, and I think it's important to approach these theories with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Of course.
But also with an open mind.
Right. After all, what we consider impossible today might become tomorrow's accepted fact.
Absolutely.
Just think about how much our understanding of the universe has changed in the last century alone.
I know, it's incredible.
Who knows what discoveries await us in the future?
Who knows?
Perhaps one day we'll find concrete evidence that proves or disproves the existence of the Anunnaki. But until then, their story remains a tantalizing mystery.
It does.
Inviting us to explore the boundaries of our imagination.
Absolutely.
And question everything we thought we knew about our past.
I love that.
And that's the beauty of deep dives like this, isn't it?
It is.
They take us on a journey through history, mythology, and even the fringes of science.
Absolutely.
Challenging our assumptions and expanding our perspectives.
I love it.
So true. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion.
Yeah.
Every layer we remove reveals another. And the journey never truly ends.
Journey never ends. It's like we're putting together this giant puzzle.
Yeah.
And each new discovery adds another layer of complexity to the picture.
And that brings up a really important point.
What's that?
The interpretation of these ancient Sumerian texts.
Yeah.
This is an ongoing process. What we think we know today could be completely overturned by tomorrow's findings.
Precisely. It's constantly evolving field.
Right.
Which is what makes it so exciting.
It does make it exciting.
We're always learning, refining our understanding, and uncovering new perspectives.
It's like we're having a conversation.
Yes.
With these ancient voices.
Across millennia.
Across millennia.
And the conversation is still unfolding.
It really is. It really is.
And that leads us to a fascinating connection.
Okay.
Between Sumerian mythology.
Yeah.
And something you might not expect.
What's that?
The Code of Hammurabi.
The Code of Hammurabi. Okay.
Big leap, right?
Yeah, we're going from myths and legends to ancient law.
It might seem that way, but trust me.
Okay.
The connection is there.
Okay.
The Code of Hammurabi is this incredible example of how ancient legal systems reflected the beliefs and values of their time.
Right.
And those beliefs were often very deeply rooted in mythology.
Okay. I'm intrigued. So, for those of us who haven't brushed up on our ancient Babylonian law lately, what exactly is the Code of Hammurabi all about?
Okay, picture a massive black stone pillar, almost 8 feet tall, covered in meticulously carved cuneiform script.
Whoa!
That's the Code of Hammurabi.
Okay.
It's a collection of 282 laws.
282, wow.
Dating back to around 1750 BC.
Okay.
Created by, you guessed it, Hammurabi.
Of course.
The 6th king of the Babylonian Empire.
Okay.
It's one of the oldest and most complete legal codes ever discovered.
That's amazing.
It is. It covers a mind-boggling range of issues.
Like what?
Everything from criminal offenses to family matters, business transactions, even property rights, agriculture.
Wow, they really thought of everything.
They did. There are laws governing marriage and divorce, inheritance, contracts, debt.
Whoa.
Even the responsibilities of builders and farmers.
Wow, it's like the original legal encyclopedia.
It really is, and what's remarkable is the level of detail.
Okay.
For example, there's a law that states if a builder constructs a house, that collapses and kills the owner.
Oh, no.
The builder shall be put to death.
Wow, okay, that's a pretty high-stakes building code.
It was a different time.
It is a different time for sure.
But these laws also give us a glimpse into their social values.
Okay.
Their ideas about justice.
Yeah.
And their attempts to create order and fairness in a complex society.
Right. All right, so back to the connection to Sumerian mythology.
Yes.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around that.
Okay, the link lies with a specific deity.
Okay.
Shamash, the god of justice and law.
Shamash.
At the very top of that stone pillar, right above all those intricate laws, there's a depiction of Shamash handing the laws to King Hammurabi.
Oh, wow.
It's not just some random artistic choice.
Right.
It's a powerful statement about the divine authority behind these laws.
So they're saying these laws aren't just some king's decrees. They come from a higher power.
Exactly. They're imbued with this divine legitimacy.
Right.
And if you think back to the story of Gilgamesh, remember when the gods are debating whether to kill him or Enkidu?
Oh, yeah.
It's Shamash, the god of justice, who argues against killing Gilgamesh.
Right.
He says it would disrupt the balance of power.
Yeah.
That a king's death would lead to chaos and instability.
Right. And that's ultimately why they choose to kill Enkidu instead.
Precisely. So we see this theme of justice.
Yeah.
The importance of a fair legal system and the consequences of disrupting that order reflected in both Sumerian mythology and the Code of Hammurabi.
Right.
And the figure of Shamash just connects these two worlds.
Wow, I never would have thought of it that way.
Yeah.
It's incredible how these seemingly disparate threads, mythology, law, and religion, are all woven together.
I know it is. And that's one of the things that makes studying ancient culture so fascinating.
It is.
Everything is interconnected.
Yeah.
Their myths inform their laws.
Right.
Their laws reflect their beliefs.
Yeah.
And their beliefs shape their entire worldview.
It really makes you wonder how much of our own legal systems and ideas about justice are influenced by these ancient concepts.
It really does. And speaking of enduring concepts, one of the most famous and often misunderstood aspects of the Code of Hammurabi is the principle of an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth.
Oh, yeah, that's the one that always sparks debate.
Right.
It's seen as this harsh, unforgiving approach to justice.
Yes. But I have a feeling there's more to it than meets the eye, so to speak.
I think you're right. On the surface, it sounds brutal.
It does.
But in the context of the time, an eye for an eye was actually intended to limit retribution and prevent excessive punishment.
Right.
It was a way to establish proportionality,
making
sure the punishment fit the crime and didn't spiral out of control.
Exactly.
So it's not about revenge.
No.
It's about setting boundaries.
Exactly. Saying, okay, you committed a crime.
Right.
You will face consequences.
All right.
But those consequences will be measured and proportionate. It was an attempt to prevent blood feuds and cycles of violence.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
It's about finding that delicate balance between punishment and order, which, let's face it, is still something we struggle with today.
Absolutely. The Code of Hammurabi, despite being thousands of years old, raises questions about justice, fairness, and the rule of law that are still incredibly relevant today.
It's mind-blowing to think that these ideas, debated and codified so long ago, are still shaping our legal systems and ethical discussions. And it all ties back to those Sumerian myths, those stories that have echoed through time.
Yes.
Influencing cultures and civilizations across the globe.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that the past isn't really past.
Right.
It's still with us, woven into the fabric of our present.
I love that. The past woven into the fabric of our present.
Yeah.
Speaking of the past, let's delve back into those mysteries surrounding Gilgamesh. Remember how we were talking about his reign being significantly shorter than those of the kings who came before him?
Yes, that discrepancy in lifespans has always fascinated me.
Yeah, it's almost as if Gilgamesh represents a transition.
Yes.
A shift from a mythical age of immortality to a world where humans face the reality of death.
It's like he's caught between those two worlds.
Yeah.
The world of the gods and the world of mortals.
And his journey, his desperate search for immortality, could be seen as a reflection of that struggle.
Absolutely.
A yearning to hold on to a past that's slipping away.
I think you're right.
And isn't that something we can all relate to on some level?
Oh, absolutely.
The desire to defy time.
Yeah.
To escape the limitations of our human existence.
It's a universal longing.
It is.
And Gilgamesh's story gives us this powerful lens through which to explore those very human desires and anxieties.
It makes you wonder if the Sumerians, with their advanced knowledge and sophisticated storytelling, were trying to tell us something about our own nature.
I think they were.
You know, about the challenges we face as mortals in a world that often feels both magical and terrifying.
Absolutely. And that's what makes their myths so enduring.
They do?
They tap into those timeless questions.
Right.
About who we are, why we're here.
Yeah.
What it means to live a meaningful life
right.
in the face of our own mortality.
Right. And speaking of timeless questions, what about the Anunnaki?
The Anunnaki.
We talked about their potential connection to other creation myths.
Yes.
But their story is still so shrouded in mystery.
It is.
It really is.
Their tale continues to intrigue and perplex us, doesn't it?
It does.
This idea that these beings from another planet came to Earth, created humans.
Right.
And then, for whatever reason, left us to our own devices.
Yeah.
It's both fascinating and unsettling.
It really is, and it raises so many questions.
It does.
Why create us in the first place? What was their purpose? And what does their absence mean for humanity's future?
Right. These are questions that have been debated for centuries.
Right.
And there are no easy answers.
There really aren't.
Some believe the Anunnaki were benevolent creators.
Okay.
Sharing their knowledge and technology with early humans.
Right.
Others see them as more manipulative,
right.
exploiting humans for their own gain.
And then there are those who just dismiss the whole thing as pure fiction, nothing more than an elaborate myth.
And it's important to remember that we're dealing with ancient texts here.
Right.
Stories that have been passed down and interpreted through countless generations, separating fact from fiction, myth from reality.
Yeah.
It's a daunting task.
It is. It's like trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces.
It really is.
But that's also part of the allure, isn't it?
It is.
The challenge of piecing together these fragments of history and mythology, trying to make sense of them and see the bigger picture.
Absolutely. And even if we never find definitive answers, the journey of exploration, the process of questioning and searching is incredibly rewarding in itself.
It is. So what do we make of the Anunnaki?
I don't know.
Are they benevolent creators? Exploitative overlords,
right.
or simply a figment of our collective imagination?
Perhaps they're a bit of all of those things.
Okay.
Maybe their story is a reflection of our own anxieties about our place in the universe,
right.
our fear of the unknown,
yeah.
and our desire to find meaning and purpose in a world that often feels random and chaotic.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's not about finding the one right answer.
Right.
It's about embracing the mystery, the complexity, and the possibility that the truth might be more nuanced and multifaceted than we could ever imagine.
Exactly, and that's what makes these deep dives so rewarding.
It is.
They push us to think beyond the surface, to question our assumptions,
Right.
and to embrace the unknown.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from ancient law and divine justice to the mysteries of creation and the enduring power of myth.
Absolutely.
But there's one more intriguing piece of this Sumerian puzzle that I'd love to explore.
Oh, okay.
What about those recent discoveries you mentioned earlier?
Yes.
The ones that are changing our understanding of these ancient texts.
Ah, yes, those are truly fascinating.
They are.
It's like having a new lens through which to view these ancient stories.
It is.
For example, remember how we were talking about Humbaba?
Yeah, the one who turned out to be friends with Enkidu.
Yes.
That was a real shocker.
I know, right? Well, there have been other discoveries that are equally mind-blowing.
Okay, tell me more.
One that comes to mind is the recent unearthing of a tablet that sheds new light on the relationship between the Anunnaki and humans.
Wait, really? What does it say?
This tablet, which is still being translated and analyzed, suggests that the Anunnaki weren't simply these distant, godlike figures. They actually interacted with humans on a much more personal level.
Okay, now I'm really curious. What kind of interactions are we talking about?
Well, according to this tablet, there seems to have been a complex system of exchange between the Anunnaki and humans.
Okay.
So humans provided labor and resources.
Yeah.
And in return, they received knowledge, technology.
Wow.
Even a certain level of protection from the Anunnaki.
So it wasn't just a straightforward case of masters and slaves.
Right.
There was a more nuanced relationship at play.
Exactly. And this new perspective challenges many of our previous assumptions about the Anunnaki and their role in human history.
It's like those black and white pictures that suddenly burst into color when you add the missing pieces.
It is.
Suddenly the whole story just takes on a new dimension, a new depth.
Precisely. And that's the beauty of ongoing research and discovery.
Right.
It allows us to continually reassess and refine our understanding of the past.
Yeah.
To see these ancient cultures not as static relics, but as dynamic, complex societies that were constantly evolving and adapting.
And it reminds us that history isn't just a collection of dusty facts and dates.
Right.
It's a living, breathing narrative that's still unfolding.
Yes.
Full of surprises, mysteries, and endless possibilities for exploration.
Absolutely. And who knows what other incredible discoveries are waiting to be unearthed.
Who knows?
Each new finding has the potential to reshape our understanding of the past and challenge everything we thought we knew.
It's exciting to think that we're still in the early stages of uncovering the secrets of Sumerian civilization.
We are, and that's what makes this field so captivating.
It is.
There's this sense of wonder and possibility that permeates every new discovery.
I know what you mean. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling inspired to do some more digging into these Sumerian mysteries.
Oh, me too.
Perhaps we can even plan a trip.
Yeah.
To visit some of these archaeological sites and see these ancient wonders firsthand.
That's a fantastic idea. Imagine standing in the very places where these stories originated, where those ancient voices first whispered tales of gods and monsters and the creation of humanity.
It would be an incredible experience. A chance to connect with the past in a truly profound way.
Absolutely.
But for now, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned from our deep dive into Sumerian mythology.
Okay.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It has. We've explored everything from the epic adventures of Gilgamesh to the intricacies of ancient law and the tantalizing mysteries surrounding the Anunnaki.
Yeah.
It's been a whirlwind of ideas.
It has.
Discoveries and thought-provoking questions.
And one of the things that keeps coming back to me is the sheer ingenuity and sophistication of the Sumerian civilization.
Yes.
They weren't just telling stories.
Right.
They're creating a complex and multifaceted worldview.
They were.
That sought to explain the universe.
Yeah.
The human condition and our place within the grand scheme of things.
They were, and their legacy is still with us today, woven into the fabric of our own cultures, our beliefs, and even our legal systems.
It's a reminder that the past isn't something separate from us.
It's not.
It's a part of who we are.
Yes.
Shaping our present and influencing our future.
Absolutely.
And that's a pretty powerful thought to leave our listeners with, isn't it?
It is.
The past is always present, shaping our lives in ways we may not even realize.
I love that.
I do too.
It is, and it's up to us to explore that past.
Yeah.
to learn from it.
Right.
And to use its wisdom to guide us as we navigate the complexities of our own time.
Well said. And on that note,
okay,
we'll wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Right.
But don't worry, we're not done yet.
So good.
There are still a few more intriguing threads to unravel.
Okay.
A few more secrets to uncover.
I like it.
Stay tuned for the final part of our Sumerian adventure, where we'll explore the evolving interpretations of these ancient texts.
Okay.
And delve into the question of what it all means for us today.
I can't wait.
Me neither. Until then, keep those minds open and those imaginations fired up.
Yes.
The journey of discovery never truly ends.
Never.
All right, so we've explored these ancient Sumerian myths and their possible connections to other world mythologies.
We have.
And we even took a detour into the world of ancient Babylonian law with the Code of Hammurabi.
Nice.
It's been quite the deep dive.
It has.
But you mentioned these recent discoveries, the ones that are changing our understanding of these ancient texts.
Yes.
I'm really curious to hear more about those.
Well, they are truly remarkable. It's like having a new lens to view these stories through.
Yeah.
For instance, remember how we talked about the Sumerian flood myth?
Yeah.
And the story of Anapishtim, their version of Noah?
Oh, absolutely. The giant cube-shaped ark designed by the god Enki.
Yes.
It's such a vivid image. It makes you wonder how these ancient cultures viewed the world.
It does.
Their relationship with the gods and the forces of nature.
Absolutely.
So what about it?
Well, a recently unearthed tablet actually offers a fresh perspective on that whole flood myth.
Really?
It suggests that the flood wasn't just this random act of divine punishment,
Okay.
but a deliberate act of intervention by the Anunnaki.
Hold on. Are you saying the Anunnaki engineered the flood?
It's a theory.
Why would they do that?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the tablet doesn't give us a clear answer.
Right.
But some scholars believe that the Anunnaki may be concerned about human overpopulation.
Okay.
Or maybe facing some challenges of their own.
Right.
Decided to use the flood as a way to kind of reset civilization.
So it's almost like a cosmic reboot button.
Kinda. Wipe the slate clean and start again.
It's a provocative theory.
It is.
It definitely adds another layer of complexity to our understanding of the flood myth and the Anunnaki's role in human affairs.
Absolutely. And it's these kinds of discoveries that completely shift our perspective.
They do.
It really makes you realize that history isn't static. It's this living, breathing narrative.
It is.
That's constantly being revised and reinterpreted as we uncover more evidence.
And it reminds us that we need to approach these ancient texts with humility and an open mind.
Yes.
Because we may never have the full picture.
That's right.
But every new discovery brings us closer to understanding the complexities of these ancient cultures and their worldviews.
Absolutely.
Speaking of complexities, there's another recent discovery that I find particularly intriguing.
Oh, what's that?
It relates to Gilgamesh and his quest for immortality.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about him seeking out Utnapishtim?
Yes.
The Sumerian Noah, hoping to learn the secret to eternal life.
Yes, it's a pivotal moment in the epic.
Yes.
A real turning point in his journey.
Yeah, so what did this new discovery reveal?
I'm dying to know.
Well, according to this newly translated tablet, it seems that Gilgamesh wasn't just seeking immortality for himself. He was actually hoping to find a way to bring back his friend Enkidu from the dead.
Oh, wow, that's remarkable.
I know.
It adds a whole new dimension to his quest.
He really does.
It's no longer just about defying death.
Right.
It's about the power of love.
Yeah.
Loyalty.
Yeah.
And this just desperate yearning to undo a tragic loss.
He's like trying to rewrite the very laws of nature. Defy the gods themselves to save his friend.
And it speaks to the depth of their bond.
It does.
I mean, their friendship transcended even the boundaries of life and death.
That's beautiful.
It is.
And it's a reminder that even in the face of this immense loss, love and hope can endure.
It's a powerful message.
It is. It's beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time.
I agree.
And it adds another layer of depth and complexity to the whole epic of Gilgamesh.
It really does.
You know, it's no longer just a story about one man's quest for immortality.
Right.
It's about the enduring power of friendship, the pain of loss, and the lengths to which we'll go to hold on to those we love.
Precisely. It transforms our understanding of his motivations.
Right.
Makes his story even more resonant and relatable to us today.
It really does. It's incredible how a single tablet,
I know,
just a few lines of ancient text can completely change our interpretation of a story that's been told and retold for thousands of years.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
It highlights the fact that our understanding of the past is always evolving.
Yeah.
It's not fixed.
Right.
It's not immutable.
It's dynamic. It's fluid.
Yes.
It's this narrative that's constantly being reshaped by new discoveries, new perspectives, and new interpretations.
I love it.
It's like we're piecing together this giant cosmic jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
And we may never have all the pieces, but each new one we find just reveals a little bit more.
Yes.
Adding depth, color, and complexity to the image.
And that's what makes exploring history and mythology so captivating.
It really is.
Because the journey never truly ends.
It doesn't.
There are always more questions to ask.
Right.
More mysteries to unravel, more layers to peel back.
It's like we're having this conversation with these ancient voices.
Yes.
A conversation that spans millennia. And through these stories, these myths and legends, they're sharing their wisdom, their insights, and their unique perspectives on the world.
It's up to us to listen.
Yes.
To learn.
Right.
And to carry those voices forward, weaving them into the fabric of our own understanding of the world and our place in it.
And maybe, just maybe, along the way, we'll discover something about ourselves.
I think so.
You know, about our own hopes and fears and dreams.
Absolutely.
And we'll find that we're not so different from those who came before us.
I agree.
That we share the same fundamental desires for meaning, purpose, and connection.
I think you're right.
And that's the beauty of it all, isn't it?
It is.
This realization that across time and cultures, we're all part of this single interconnected human story.
Yes.
A story that's still being written. A story that invites us to explore, to question, and to discover.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of Sumerian mythology.
We have.
And we hope you enjoyed this journey through time, ideas, and ancient mysteries as much as we have.
We did. And if this exploration has sparked your curiosity, we encourage you to continue the journey.
Yes.
There's a wealth of information out there waiting to be discovered.
Absolutely.
Pick up a book, watch a documentary, or even visit a museum.
Right.
Let your imagination run wild and see where it takes you.
And who knows, you might even make a discovery that changes our understanding of the past.
That would be amazing.
It would be. Until next time,
keep
exploring, keep questioning, and keep those minds wide open.
Keep them open.